Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. This just in. A stunning development has revealed that a couple in the state of Washington has set an extraordinary record by crafting two, not one, but two console tables in a single afternoon. Let's explore the process behind their remarkable accomplishment. Hello, my darling friends. Welcome back. It is so good to see all of you. I hope you've had a great week and a great start to your new year. Things are kicking off here. I am really excited about our project this week. I'm excited to share this with y'all. And I'm just in general excited for 2025. Michael and I have some fabulous projects coming your way this year. I think you guys are really going to enjoy a lot of the things that we have coming up in the next several weeks and months and year. So if y'all missed the live that Michael and I did last week, it is available for replay now. So just pop on over to my homepage, hit the live tab and take a look, and it will give you a little more insight into Michael and I's plans and goals for this year. It also explains membership, so if y'all missed that, take a look at our new membership plan that we have available. It is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I am particularly excited about doing our membership workshops each month, which we have one coming up. So for all of my members that have already joined, be on the lookout for that. I'll be explaining a little bit more about that in the next week or so. All right, friends, are y'all ready to do some DIYing? Let's just jump right into this and let's get started. I'm excited about this week's project. Michael and I are going to be showing y'all how to literally make the world's easiest console tables. We literally put these together in one afternoon, and I'm excited to share with y'all how we did this. So let's head out into the shop and take a look.
For our very first table, Michael and I are going to be using this gorgeous live edge piece of ash that we picked up at one of our local lumber stores. And y'all, this is the most gorgeous tree species I think I've ever seen. I love the color of it. I just love that rich honey color, and the grain in this is absolutely gorgeous. So to get started, the first thing that we needed to do with this was decide where we wanted to make our cuts in this. There were some kind of funky edges on the end, and because it's a live edge, it's shaped like a tree, so we wanted to cut the most straightest pieces out. So we chose where we were going to cut our wood. Michael did the measurements, and then we came in with our track saw and made our cuts. If you do not have a track saw, you can also use a jigsaw to do this, and a straight ruler, a straight ruler, and then just cut along your ruler edge, making sure not to cut into the ruler, of course, to make sure that you do get a nice straight cut. Okay, so after we got our pieces cut out, we had to do the inevitable. My least favorite part of any project is sanding, but it has to be done. I really did want to make sure that we got a super smooth surface on this tabletop. So we came in with I believe I started with a 60 grit, and I worked all the way up to a 320 grit to make sure that I got a silky smooth sand on this beautiful tabletop. And y'all, this wood, it is so gorgeous. I'm just over the moon with how beautiful this piece of wood is. how beautiful this is. Y'all, I am so in love with this species. I think it is definitely my new favorite wood. It is so beautiful. I especially really love the grain in this. Okay, so now it is time to add the legs. I told y'all this was so simple. We literally just chose our piece of wood, made a couple of cuts, gave it a good sanding, and then we add the legs. So the legs that Michael and I chose for this specific table are metal legs. I did find these on Amazon, and I will have them linked in the description box for y'all under our supply list. And there was a little bit of assembly involved with these legs, but nothing too strenuous. And so once we got the feet assembled to the bottom of the actual leg, it was just a matter of attaching it to our tabletop. And y'all, they really don't want these legs to wiggle or jiggle at all because each leg literally had 12 screws. So the first thing we did is obviously came in and marked our leg placement for our tabletop. Now, because this was a live edge, we did have to measure and it was really tricky because it's a live edge, the measurement isn't the same. It's not a square piece of wood. So it was a little tricky getting our legs perfectly centered. But once we figured all that out, we marked our positioning, and then Michael came in with our little punchy thing here and pre-punched all of our pre-punched a divot in all of the leg placement areas, and this just prevents your drill bit from walking across your wood as you are pre-drilling, because sometimes you get that where it wants to walk and then you don't get your hole drilled in the precise spot. So that's why we come in and do the little pre-punch. We make that little divot in there, and then we had to drill all of these holes. So we had 12 holes per leg times 4. Yeah, that's a lot of holes we had to pre-drill. Once we got the pre-drilling done, it'll be time to screw all our legs into place, and then voila, we're going to have a table just like that. I told y'all this was one of the world's easiest tables we have ever made. The pre-drilling is done, and now we get to screw 48 screws into these legs. I really don't think these legs are going anywhere. They are very well attached and secured to this tabletop, and there should not be a single bit of wobble or jiggle to these legs at all. So y'all, something that I love the most about DIYing a project is the fact that you get to customize it to your own taste and style. So if you did not want to use metal legs on this, you could use pre-turned wooden legs. You could use hairpin legs. You could create your own square wooden legs, like the bench style leg. I think that would be so pretty. It would just be so neat. So that is the beauty of DIYing, is that you get to personalize it and customize it to your own tastes and styles. And y'all, look how beautiful this turned out. Michael and I literally put this entire table together in about an hour and a half. That is from start to finish, and it is so cute. I just love it. So I did want this one to be somewhat smaller. I didn't want a full-size console table to sit in this space because I like just a little bit of that minimalistic feel here. So we did cut this one a lot smaller, but if you wanted to make a full console table with this, you certainly could. Y'all, I'm drooling over this piece of wood. This ash, again, I know I keep saying it, but it is so beautiful. So now we get to do my favorite part, and that is styling. So I want to keep the pieces that I add to this pretty minimal. So I'm just going to stack some of my favorite books on here. And then I'm going to finish it with, well, not finish it, but then I will add a lamp to this ensemble. I love lamps. They just warm up a space. And because I don't have a plug-in in here, I am using my favorite rechargeable light bulbs here. I will have those linked for y'all. And then to finish it off, I'm just simply going to add a little tiny wreath to this. And I love the overall look. I think it turned out so good, and it added so much warmth to this space. This next table that Michael and I are going to show y'all how to make is an actual full-size console table. We are making this one for my entryway. I loved the one that was there, but I just felt like it was time for a little change. So for this one, we are using Radiata Pine Plywood. This is just a simple inexpensive plywood that we chose for this project. However, because I did want this piece, the tabletop on this one to be really chunky, we did decide to go ahead and glue some pieces together. So we are simply spreading some glue on. And I will tell y'all that when you are doing a glue up to this size and this scale, you want to make sure that you get a really good amount of glue on here, and you want to make sure that you spread it nice and evenly and get it spread all the way to the very edges. So once we got our glue spread and ready, we sat another piece on top of this piece of plywood. And then we are going to, just to give this some extra security, we are going to, I know we used glue, but to give it a little extra hold, we are going to come in and screw the top piece to, well, this will be the middle piece to our top piece. Something else to keep in mind, because obviously we don't want screws in our top piece. So our top piece is what we started with, and we put the top side down, and then we're kind of working this up backwards. I hope that makes sense to y'all. So we will just come in and add a whole bunch of screws to this. We just add a few down the two long sides and a few across the short sides, and then a few in the middle, just to prevent this from buckling and bowing once it sets and dries. Oh yeah, y'all, I forgot to mention that before we came in and just started adding our screws into this, we did pre-drill everything. I know you've heard me say this, and I don't like to harp on it, but pre-drilling is really, really important. I know it adds an extra step, and a lot of times we are so tempted to just skip that step so that we can just make things go a lot faster. But pre-drilling really is important because it prevents your wood from splitting, and we don't want that. We don't want the splits in the wood. So take that extra time to pre-drill all of your holes before actually coming in and screwing in the screws. Okay, we just have a couple more screws to add to this middle section, and then we can move on to placing our, or gluing up our final piece. So we used 3 pieces of plywood in total for this table because, again, I really wanted that super chunky look to this. However, if that chunky look isn't your thing, you could do this entire table with just 1 piece of plywood and avoid the glue ups altogether, and it would be beautiful. It would work perfectly, and you would get, you would achieve the same thing or accomplish the same thing. Me personally, really love this chunky wood. So we have added 3 pieces of plywood to this. This is our last one. We got our glue spread, set that 3rd piece, and then again, we will come in, pre-drill all of our holes so that we can screw this to that middle section. Now again, y'all, this is the bottom of the table. So you want to make sure that you do this, you build this if you are going to do glue ups. Make sure that you remember to build it backwards so that the pretty side of your plywood is down at the bottom, so that when we flip this whole thing, you get that pretty side up, which is going to be our table surface, the top of our table. I think that makes sense, right? Y'all are following me on that? Okay, so we'll just go ahead, get this whole thing screwed into place, and then we are going to clamp everything down. Now, I do think this part is very important. Again, this is one of those steps, because we screwed everything down, you might have that mindset of, oh, I don't need to clamp it. However, yes, you do. I think this is very important because, first of all, it really squeezes all of those pieces of boards together to make sure that we get a very good tight adhesion between the glue and all of our wood pieces. It also prevents the pieces from shifting around. Even though we screwed it, there could still be some shifting. You could get some buckling, a little bit of movement in the wood. So this helps prevent all of this, and it keeps everything in a nice flat shape because we don't want a wavy tabletop, right? So we're going to go ahead and clamp it, and I will tell y'all, Michael and I darn near used every single clamp we had. This is a really big tabletop, and I don't remember the measurements right off the top of my head, but I will have that linked in the description box for y'all. So we're just going to clamp, and I'm going to let y'all go along with us as we do this. So enjoy! Y'all, that is a lot of clamps. Okay, so Michael and I did give this a couple of hours to completely set up. We wanted to give that glue enough time to properly cure and set before removing the clamps. So now we get the fun task of coming in and removing the 6 billion clamps that we put on this tabletop. And then after they've been removed, we get to put them all away. So much fun. Y'all may have noticed when we did the glue up on this that not all 3 pieces of our plywood were exactly the same. Well, we did do this on purpose because we wanted to make sure that we had perfect parallel edges on this tabletop. So after we let that glue set for a little while, we came over and ran this through our edger a few times just to make sure that we do get a perfect square, nice, beautiful parallel edges on this. And then after running it through the edger a few times, which was kind of fun, it was a little tricky. I don't know if y'all have ever used an edger, but this tool actually kind of scares me. It's one of those in the shop that I'm not super comfortable with. So I was just Michael's assistant in this, but it is tricky because you have to keep the wood perfectly flat. You can't let it move at all when running it through the edger. So this was a little bit tricky, but it was kind of fun to watch. So anyway, after edging this a little bit, we will take it over to our table saw and then square up all 4 of our sides so that we have a perfect rectangle. Okay, so now all of our edging is done, and we're going to go ahead and take this to this table saw and shave off some of that excess on the opposite side from the one that we edged. And this does give us perfect parallel corners. It makes everything exactly the same so that you don't get any wave in your tabletop. We are shaving off that excess in tiny little bits at a time. So Michael did run this through the table saw a couple of different times, just moving it over a little bit each time so that we didn't get crazy and accidentally shave too much off of this tabletop. And then again, everyone's least favorite part is sanding. Now, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure that some people really do enjoy sanding. Michael and I, however, do not. It's our least favorite thing about woodworking, but it's one of those things that has to be done, and it's what gives that piece that perfect, polished, finished look. Once the sanding was done, we could go ahead and attach our legs. And again, we are using metal legs for this because I really kind of like that contemporary look that the metal legs gives to our tabletops. And these are some really cool square ones that I found. I did get these also on Amazon, so I'll have them linked if you're interested in these same tables. These ones did not have near as many screw holes as the other ones, so this part did go a little bit faster. So we got our legs set, marked the placement of our legs, and then again, we came in, did our little punch to give us some little divots, pre-drilled our holes, and then screwed, and then came back in and attached the legs to the tabletop with the screws. Sometimes I feel like I just blunder my way through these explanations, so all I can do is just giggle at myself. So here we are just placing our little punch, our little divots, and I'm going to have this punch listed in our supply list for y'all as well if you're interested. This tool really is a beautiful, handy thing because, like I said before, it does prevent when you go to pre-drill your holes in any project that you're working on, it prevents that drill or screw bit from walking across the wood, which can be a real annoyance sometimes when you're woodworking. So that's why we use that punch. It really does kind of help prevent that from happening. Attaching the legs to this tabletop did not take near as long as our really gorgeous live edge legs did because first of all, there wasn't near as many screws and we only had to do 2 legs because this was a square leg and so it just came in the 1 piece per leg. So it did screw on a lot faster. So after getting the legs attached to this tabletop, we took it in the house and I knew I wanted to put some color on this. For a few minutes, I thought maybe I would just leave it natural, but the nature of this pine is very yellow and I didn't really care for that yellow look. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll come in with some antiquing wax and just warm this up a little bit. So I am just using some Waverly antiquing wax to do this. I love to use this for staining, mostly because it has no smell whatsoever and it dries really fast. However, as I was staining this, I was like, this is reading a little too orange for me. So off camera, I came back in and did a second coat. And for the second coat, I simply just added a tiny little bit of black to the antiquing wax, and it really deepened this up a little bit and gave it a nice rich color, took away a lot of that orange, and I liked it so much better. So here is how it looks all finished, y'all. And I am loving this piece. I love how it looks in this space. So now we get to do my favorite part, and that is styling it. So because this console table is right in my entryway, it's the first thing that greets my guests when they come in the door, I tried to choose pieces that would be very warm, inviting, welcoming, but still have a little bit of that minimalistic feel to it. So I'm simply just going to add a couple of books. I love styling with book stacks. I think they just add a lot of warmth and personality and hominess to a space. Then I came in with this vessel of greenery, and then we'll top it with a lamp, which adds so much warmth. I love that. And because I don't have a plug-in here, I'm also using my favorite rechargeable batteries. And then underneath, I tucked in some ottomans. It kind of just helped complete the look and give it that extra warm, cozy, inviting feel. And then to finish off this entire ensemble, I'm simply going to add some candlesticks atop the books. And y'all, it's done just like that. This console table took Michael and I about four and a half hours to do, and it turned out so good. I absolutely love it. And I think Twixie likes it too.
Alrighty friends, well, what do you think of our tables that we made today? I literally and truly believe that these are the easiest tables Michael and I have ever created. We did the really fun round ones that are in our lounge space, our sitting area last year, and they were easy but very time consuming, where these ones I feel like worked up so fast. And y'all know me, I love a good project that works up in one day. So I am really curious to know, are these tables something that y'all think you will try? I do believe they were so incredibly easy, and especially our live edge table. The live edge for mine isn't really a console table because I customized it to fit in my specific space, but you could make a gorgeous console table with a piece of live edge just by making the legs a little taller and creating just a little bit longer of a piece of board where we cut ours a little short. So honestly, y'all, I think these tables were so easy. They were so much fun, and they turned out so beautiful. They look high end, they look sophisticated and expensive. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the results. I'm loving them. I'm enjoying them in my space so much. So y'all have to let me know what you think of our tables from today, and if this is a project you will try. Before I say goodbye for the week, I would like to congratulate the winners of our Christmas giveaway. So if you remember, right before Christmas, Michael and I announced that we were going to be gifting away 3 Christmas gifts to one of you. We gave away a scroll saw and 2 $50 gift cards to Amazon. So congratulations to Vicky A, you are the winner of one of the $50 gift cards. Denny C, you are also a $50 gift card winner. And very extra congratulations to Mary, you are the winner of the scroll saw. So yay! Congratulations to our winners. Mary, you and I have already corresponded, but Denny and Vicky, if you could reach out to me via email so that we can arrange, take care of all the arrangements to get your gift card sent to you, that would be great. My email is always found in my description box below this video. So if you guys would just reach out to me to claim your gifts via email, that would be great, and I'm excited to get them sent to you. Alrighty friends, well, that is going to wrap up this week's project. I thought this was a ton of fun. I am so glad that y'all stopped by and spent some time with us, and I really hope that Michael and I have inspired you to branch out and do some DIYing. If you see a project in a catalog or a magazine or in a store that you love, but it's a little bit out of your price range, like a lot of things are for me, try DIYing it. Michael and I have a tendency to DIY a lot of things. In fact, I would say 85 to 87% of the things in our home have been DIY'd, and it's fun. I love it, and I think my favorite thing about DIYing is that you just get to sit back with this sense of pride as you're enjoying it in your space, knowing that you made that with your very own 2 hands. So I really hope that Michael and I inspired y'all and gave you some fun ideas. If you need a console table or a bench or just something to fill a space, maybe one of these ideas inspired y'all. Okay, friends, well, next week we are going to jump into some upcycling projects. We might do a little thrift flipping, and we're definitely going to be upcycling some pieces that I have in my home that I want to just kind of recycle, that have been sitting on a shelf, and I want to give them a little bit of new life so that I can use them in my decor. So that's what we're going to be getting into next week. I hope y'all have a great weekend. We don't really have much planned, I think, this weekend. I am going to be doing some painting because I need to change the art on my mantle. I still have Rudy the reindeer up there from Christmas. So I think I'm gonna spend my weekend painting. Alrighty friends, well, that is it. I really hope y'all have a fabulous weekend and I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Until then, take care and I will see y'all soon. Bye. Oh, starting off the new year with bloopers already. Okay, y'all, so, oops, excuse me. Mess up my whole train of thought. Now I have no idea what I was even gonna say.
Could you be still? I'm trying to film. Trixie, quit dancing around. Quit dancing around.
What are you gonna do?
Are you my little backup dancer?
Oh, good grief.
Are you tap dancing while I'm trying to film? Your little clippity cloppities are really photobombing my work here. You don't care, do you? You don't care, do you?
And that's a wrap.